Hey, fantasy sports fans, welcome to Razzball Radio for Wednesday, June 11th. I'm your host, Nick Capozzi, and because it is Wednesday, we've got arguably the prettiest man in fantasy sports with us today, Gray Albright. Gray, welcome to Razzball Radio. How are you, good sir?
Extra pretty.
Yeah, I can tell. By the way, I got a question here,
Yeah,
Diva.
go ahead.
And you are, by the way, Gray is the official diva as well of
Yeah,
Razzball.
I
So,
am.
so you're at Mama Coog's house. What's that
That
little
is correct.
glass bong or pipe you got there? On
Where?
Okay, no, I'm just kidding. It
I
must be art. And
oh yeah. Actually, I come here during the summer because I like to get away from the LA traffic for a little bit and really seclude myself even further into my bubble. And,
and just in
and
case you don't know it, Gray doesn't like people, which is why he doesn't have a Twitter account. I, however, can be followed at Nick Capozzi, NickCapozzi.
yeah. So anyway, in the I think Friday, Obama is coming to Rancho Mirage, and he's going to be about a block and a half away from me. So they're closing off all the roads around me, so I'm going to be even a further bubble.
All right, well, let's talk a little fantasy baseball to kind of pull you out slowly out of that bubble today. So, Gregory Polanco got called up. We're not going to talk about him because we've been doing that a lot here on Razzball Radio, obviously, although a 1 for 5 start. I was expecting like 3 for 5. Come on, Gregory. But what are your thoughts on Starling Marte? People are a little bit down on him this year. I'm not sure why. I know the batting average is a little bit lower than you'd hope, but he does have 4 homers and 15 stolen bases. A, what's up with Marte? And B, does Polanco's call-up affect him at all?
Uh, yeah, I think it would be interesting to see what happens once Neil Walker is healthy because right now he's out with the appendectomy. And did you the actually Neil Walker and Neil Walker and Gregory Polanco and Sterling Marte? What do they have in common?
Tell me.
They all play for the Pirates. That's really easy. Wow. Nick, are you sure you should be hosting this game?
It's questionable today.
Yeah, so anyway, Harrison went to second base while
Yep.
Walker was out, and Marte then moved back into the outfield regularly. Now, when Walker is back and Harrison is out of a second base job, I'm not sure if the Pirates will put Harrison in the outfield occasionally and sit Marte. If they do, then I think it's a stupid mistake, but it's going to hurt Marte's fantasy value. Right now, I think Polanco is definitely playing every day. There's no reason the Pirates call him up to sit him, unlike say the Cardinals and Taveras once Matt Adams returned. But I think Polanco plays, Harrison could play, and Marte should play. So if Marte gets pushed to the bench even twice a week, it's going to hurt his fantasy value a lot. And yeah, you're right. He hasn't been that bad when it comes to fantasy. His K's to walks is hideous. So for real baseball, whatever that is, the Pirates have been benching him, which has been, it's been hurting his fantasy owners. But I think as of right now, I would hold on to Marte and hope for the best. But I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that Marte is going to get pushed to the bench quite a bit once Walker is back, which it's going to stink.
Yeah, that's bad news. You teased that Matt Adams will be back on Friday for the Cards, and you mentioned at Razzball.com today in the rundown that they might demote Oscar Taveras. You think that actually might happen?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the Super 2, but no one really understands what Super 2 means or how it works. Not even the people that are supposedly talking about Super 2. So it's really up in the air exactly what happens with Taveras. I think, Taveras is more or less a corner outfielder. Then you have Matt Adams, who's going to push Craig out of first base. So Craig has to play on a corner outfield spot. Matt Holliday has to play in a corner outfield spot. They have, unlike a rectangle, they don't have that many corners. So you have a situation where either Taveras or Craig go to center field, which gets ugly. Matheny benches Taveras, which makes no sense, or Taveras gets sent down so he can play regularly. And I think maintain some super two status. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure about the super two status. I'd love if someone actually could explain it in layman terms, but I don't think there's anyone actually that knows it.
Okay, here's something else interesting that happened last couple days. We got about a minute here before we go to break. Alex Wood got sent down from Atlanta down to the minors to stretch him out. Looks like he might find his way back into the rotation.
What? Oh wow, you're working blue today. You're talking about Wood getting stretched out.
Alex Wood, who started, he was a preseason darling.
Yeah, no, I like Alex Wood a lot. I think he could be a one of those guys that you drafted like a oh man, I was gonna say Danny Salazar. That doesn't work. I was gonna say Garrett Cole. Well, I was gonna say Singrani. All right. Well, you get the picture, though. He could be one of those guys that has a huge upside, and Michael Waka. There you go.
Okay, so Alex Wood's worth rostering to see what happens when he gets back into the rotation.
Oh, definitely, yes. In every league, I would grab Alex Wood. I would grab Wood.
You know what? With that, we'll go to break. We'll be right back with more news here on Razzball Radio with Gray, the Razzball Diva, right after this. Okay, we're back. We're still talking fantasy baseball news. Joey Votto came back yesterday, 1 for 3 in his debut on Tuesday. What do you expect from Votto rest of season? Other than a lot of teeth grinding.
What's that?
I mean, when I see Votto at the plate, I can just picture how he's grinding his teeth. He's so intense.
Yeah, I can't foul off a ball to the right side of the infield. He did something like I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but it was like 2 years he went without pulling a foul ball. Something.
Yes.
It was something insane. I forget the exact length of time, but it was really like, dude, it's okay to pull a ball foul once in a while. You don't have to be so intense. Take it easy. Don't go to the opposite field maybe every single pitch. They should do like the opposite shift where they put everyone on the left side.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just have the pitcher cover every time. Yeah, I would say, what if I compared Votto to James Loney? Would that blow your mind?
Yeah, that would blow my mind.
Yeah, I don't know if that's that far off of a comparison.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I mean, Loney last year hit 13 homers and Votto hit 24, I believe. So you have obviously a lot more power compared to Loney, but you don't have. I don't think Votto ever shows the 30 homer power that you were thinking maybe 2 years ago. I
Right.
think he's probably closer to like a Matt Holliday for power, like 22 to 25 homers. Great average. Right now Votto is not hitting for a terrific average, but that has more to do with balls hit into play and that sort of thing. I think Votto is definitely someone I would look to sell based on name value if you can get a good price for him, because I do think his name value is still really good. I think because of there's this bias in fantasy baseball that people look at players for real baseball, and because they're great players for real baseball, they have this bias toward them for fantasy, and that's not always necessarily the case. Like, just because a guy doesn't strike out and doesn't pull balls foul doesn't make him any better for fantasy. Votto's not going to steal. he's not gonna hit for a lot of power. He'll hit average, and he'll get counting stats depending on the people around him. You can't even count on runs and RBIs if it's not for the other guys that are hitting in front and behind you.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Taijuan Walker got activated from the DL, sent down to the minors. Looks like he might crack the Seattle rotation soon. We've talked about him a few times here. I'm obviously a big believer. I am all over Taijuan Walker. I think there's a chance, if he stays healthy, that he could be one of those real big second half. I'll say it. I think he could be great in the second half. I mean, I've been watching this guy in the minors for a couple of years. What are your thoughts on, I wouldn't even ask his upside because we both know he's got upside. Does he make that rotation this year? And if so, what does he do rest of the season? Assuming health.
Yeah, no, I think definitely. There's no reason why he doesn't get into the rotation. It's just a matter of him proving that he can go 6+ innings and less than 3 runs in the minor leagues. I would say that there's probably a good chance that Erasmo Ramirez throws. He goes this Sunday, and then he gets hit as he's been hit for the last year plus, and Walker is on the same schedule as him, so Walker comes up the following week for the Thursday or Friday start, whatever it lines up as. I don't see any reason why that doesn't happen as soon as next week, maybe 2 weeks, but he's still got probably a good 110 innings, maybe 100 innings in his arm this year.
Yeah, and he's available in about half the leagues out there, so really go grab him. I could be wrong, but I've been on this guy for a long time. Lonnie Chisenhall obviously had a huge day on Monday. 3 homers. Huge. 3 homers, huge. 9 RBIs. He hit more homers than Cano, Harper, and Zimmerman in one game.
Oh, God.
I know. I shouldn't have brought that up.
Oh, God. That hurts me so. Lupe Fiasco. Oh, God.
All right. The question, though, is you selling high on him?
Wait, I'm coming back from that. Awful.
Sorry, man.
Awful.
Didn't mean to punch you in the solar plexus.
Man, is that miserably depressing. That's like the worst thing I've heard. Aside from I'm going to be locked in Mama Cougs' bunker all weekend because Obama decided to come to Palm Springs for the weekend.
Stop telling people where you are.
It's beautiful in Washington. Why are you not in Washington? Why are you here? What are you coming to 120-degree weather for?
All right, are you selling Lonnie high right now?
Oh my God, there are probably going to be people knocking on the door checking for WMDs. Any second now, I'm going to have G-men at my door. Excuse me, Gray, if that's your real name, which we don't really think it is. I would sell high on Lonnie if I could get anything. I don't know. Are people really that gullible that they would trade for Lonnie Chisenhall just because he had one big game?
Listen. He's had a big year. He was a top prospect, and here's a great sell argument. If you are trying to trade Chisenhall, he's actually hitting .520 against left-handers this year. Isn't that mind-blowing? It's only like in 26 at-bats, but the point is you can point to that stat and say, hey, look, he's hitting .520 against lefties. He's breaking out. I tell him as well, obviously, and if you can't get good value for him, I'd probably sit.
Yeah, no, his balls bat into play is .420 right now. In the history of baseball, I'm not sure if anyone's ever hit that well with balls bat into play. So, and he's not even fast. Usually, balls bat into play goes up with a guy who's fast because that means they can beat out balls that are hit into play better than guys that are slow, obviously. So Chisenhall isn't fast. There's no reason why, his balls bat into play is better than, say, Billy Hamilton or something. It's insane how lucky he's getting. Right now, he's basically hitting grounders right at a hitter, right at a fielder, and a squirrel is running out of the stands, grabbing the ball and running the ball into left field for a hit. Like that's right now how lucky he's being.
All right, great. Hold on a second. We're going to come back right after this. We're going to talk about George Springer's knees, Christian Yelich, and is Corey Dickerson real right after this. All right, we're back here with Gray on Razzball Radio. Gray, are you concerned about George Springer's knees? He's missed a couple days now.
No, not concerned at all.
Okay, real easy. What's the deal with Corey Dickerson? And let me kind of put it to you this way. I'm in a keeper league with a gentleman from a national baseball publication. It's a big one. And it's a keeper league.
What? Out of curiosity, are you not saying the name of the publication because you're hoping to get a sponsor from a different publication?
No, I just don't know that he would want me because it's a private league. It's not like an experts league or anything.
We should. I mean, I feel like as we're talking to our listeners, viewers, readers, or whatever the hell this is, we should start to get people should start to get to know each other, and people should understand that you were a salesman for many years, so everything comes back to the sponsorships. And it's like,
I was a marketer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's important that people understand when it's like, oh yeah, well, I was talking to a person who does a publication.
No, sorry. You know what? The reason was because it's a private league. It's just a friend's league. He's a buddy of mine, so I just wanted to. I didn't know if he wanted to be mentioned. However, if you are looking at Razzball for sponsorship opportunities, email me, nick@razzball.com. Okay, so this guy, he's a smart guy. He has been for the last couple of days. I had Corey Dickerson. My team is terrible. It's a keeper league, just 10 keepers. Okay, there's nothing's tied to value or draft round. And basically, and I made the deal. He traded me Yordano Ventura for Corey Dickerson. And I thought, okay, look, I am concerned about Yordano's elbow, no question. I like the way you're looking at me. I feel like I'm at the principal's office. But here's why I traded Ventura for Dickerson.
No, this is more of like a guidance counselor. I'm trying to figure out what to do with you, Nick.
I need some career advice right now. But the question is...
You gave up everything to do TV on the radio. Radio on the TV. I don't even know what it is anymore.
Hold on. I gave up Toronto Winters for Phoenix Summers. Okay, I'll take that. But the question here is about...
Wait a minute. You left Toronto when? In March?
Yeah, don't remind me.
You left Toronto when the weather was turning good to go to Arizona when the weather became 135 degrees.
There wasn't a good option.
In November, are you going back to Toronto? Because if you are, I got serious questions for you.
All right, here's my question, though. Corey Dickerson... Maybe a 280, 290 hitter, always hit well for average in the minors. Power's been developing, especially he changed his swing a couple years ago. Is there a chance that this guy could actually turn into, a real fantasy-worthy player? Did I make a mistake doing that trade?
No, I don't think so. You got Dickerson for Yordano, or reverse? You got Yordano.
I got Yordano.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I want the hitter, all things being equal.
Yep.
So the trade probably is going to work out. I would say that right now the trade is going to work out in your favor for the future, for everything. I like your side better simply because Dickerson isn't assured playing time.
Right.
So it's hard for me to say, okay, Dickerson would be a great keeper if he played 160 games a year, because there is no inkling of Walt Weiss saying, yes, Dickerson's our starting outfielder. I mean, it just hasn't been proven yet. So it's like, it's impossible for me to say, yeah, Dickerson is great with a starting job, because he should have had a starting job already. He's basically what, Charlie Blackmon, he did the best he could have possibly done in April for himself,
yep,
and the absolute worst he could have done for Dickerson, because he made Dickerson irrelevant with Blackmon's huge April. So suddenly, Walt Weiss realized that, he doesn't need Dickerson and Blackman. There's no sort of, there's no reason to platoon them. So he just kept going with Blackman, and Dickerson got thrown to the bench. Now, the reverse could easily happen in the month of July, say, with Dickerson having a huge month of July and Walt Weiss being like, well, Blackman really isn't that great, and Dickerson's hitting, so let's just play Dickerson every day. And then if Dickerson extends that, then he's suddenly the starter, and going into next April, we have, a situation where Dickerson actually could start. Now, going back to what Dickerson could actually do is more, it's probably close to, say, 17-17 with a good average. That's 17 homers, 17 steals, good average, decent counting stats. Not a terrible player at all. Someone that Steamer really loved going into the season in the preseason, because he's capable of steals and power, which is, it's a great combo for fantasy. The problem is, it's sort of like what happened with Rutledge last year. He's capable of power and speed, but if he doesn't have a starting job, it doesn't matter what he's capable of. It's like same with Diaza in Chicago. He's got power and speed, but if he's a fourth outfielder, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Okay, speaking of power and speed, we got about a minute left here, Gray. Christian Yelich, 4 for 6 yesterday, 4 runs batted in. He's available in about half of leagues out there. He's got 6 homers and 10 steals this year. Shouldn't he be rostered?
Definitely. I think he's probably the best player under the age of 16 in the major leagues.
All right, but he should be rosterable, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not used to these short, concise answers. Okay, let me throw one more at you here real quick. We got like 30 seconds because this was posted in the comments today at Razzball.com. Albert Pujols or Freddie Freeman rest of season? Just pick one.
Freeman.
There you go. So there you go, commenter. I should have noted who actually made that comment. All right, Gray, listen, I want you to relax in the bunker, okay?
I'm going to go actually, you know what? I'm going to make some cupcakes and bring them over to Obama. That's what I'm going to do.
That will get you arrested. Okay, tomorrow on Razzball Radio, we are going to have Sky talking some deep leaguers. We're going to play Jammer Cram with the Guru. And I think we're also going to have Sagnoff Mike back on. Did a great job yesterday. We talked steals, so now we might talk saves. All right, that's it for us today on Razzball Radio. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day. And Gray, stay out of trouble.
I'll try.